Going back 2 decades, hybrids were never that good to look at, were never that fun to drive, and were really underappreciated. But within the last few years, we've seen auto manufacturers come out with hybrid models that are actually appealing, offering more space, better style, better ride quality. And today I am very excited to show you one of those. Welcome to Get to Know Cars. I'm Chris, and today I'm going to show you the 2022 Camry SE Hybrid. Big shout out to Bruce Woodring Auto here in Henderson, Kentucky for giving us access to today's car that we're going to review. You can find them online at brucewoodringauto.com or stop by and talk to my friend Sabino. He'll be glad to assist you. At the front, we have the same design we've seen on the Camrys for the last few years, which looks fantastic, but something you might not know is that rather than sticking on another component somewhere that looks weird, kind of like a lot of cars have done, including Mercedes-Benz, Toyota's radar system is built in behind this Toyota badge. It's nice and hidden where it's not just stuck on and it looks like some afterthought. This serves as Toyota's pre-collision system and their dynamic radar cruise control, which is just a fancy way of saying adaptive cruise control. We have these really nice looking 18-inch alloy wheels with all-season tires. Under the hood, as far as gas-powered engine goes, we have a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder putting out 208 horsepower, and that's really not bad considering this is a mid-size hybrid sedan. While there's so many things I love about this car, the one thing that I cannot stand are these door panels. I just really don't like the way that they look. I think you have this really awkward, just big piece of plastic right here, and there's really not much design on them. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal, but me personally, it's just not my taste. Something that is nice about the door panels, though, is down here in your little storage compartment, there's actually cutouts that are angled where you could very easily slip in like a bottle of water for convenient storage, and I do think that's a pretty cool feature. And while the driver enjoys the luxuries of having electric seat controls, the passenger's out of luck because everything over here is manual. You also get a really nice leather-wrapped steering wheel, which I think looks great, feels great. I can't wait to drive this and see how the steering actually feels. And you also get this really annoying beeping noise when you leave your door open. Welcome to the back seat of the Camry, where we have loads of space and we have a few amenities to go over. Starting with these little storage pouches on the back of each seat, just a nice little place to tuck away some stuff. You also get a little storage compartment right here in the center. And underneath that, there are 2 smart USB ports, so your backseat riders can stay charged up on their mobile devices. And we have a pretty nice, it's kind of hidden because there's no exterior handle for it, but if you put your hand, slip your hand between the middle headrest here, you can pull down your center armrest, which features 2 cup holders. And I have to say, it's actually a pretty nice armrest. It's made of the same leathery material that you see on the seats. It doesn't like self-sustain itself, but it does just kind of lean down onto the seat back here, so you know it's not going to go anywhere if you rest your arm on it. We have our 9-inch display here in the center console with some physical buttons on each side for some of the more common actions that you might need to use. We also have actual turn knobs in here for radio volume and so forth, which I think is a great touch because this is just the easiest thing to use while you're actually driving. And of course, this is a touch screen. We have a really cool monitor here that operates like what you see in Priuses, actually. This is your energy monitor, and it shows how the power is being used by the car between the engine, the electric motor, and the battery. And I have to say, I've been in this car for probably a good 10 minutes at least, if not 10 to 15 minutes, getting the camera set up. I'd made the intro. I have the air conditioning running because it is hot, and we have only used half of the battery power in this car. The engine has not started on this car in the last 10 or 15 minutes that I've been in here. Now, mind you, I'm not driving, I'm just sitting here, but we are running the AC, and At least in the 2008 Prius I had, which I know is going back a ways compared to this, the battery, the car would constantly have to start and stop to keep charging that battery, even when you were setting. So this is actually quite impressive to see this. And one of my favorite features inside of the Camry are the seats, which give you a cloth and leather balance. You have the cloth here in the middle with this striped design, all surrounded by this nice dark leather. You even have this little suede strip right in the middle that's just nice and soft in the middle. Altogether, I think it gives these seats a sporty yet classy feel, and even better, they're comfortable. What more could you ask for? The car also features keyless lock and unlock, a manual shade for your sunroof that tilts and fully opens. We also have a very spacious trunk, so you can store all of your stuff. There's 3 main drive modes: Eco, Normal, and Sport. There's also an EV mode to drive the car in electric only. There's wireless charging, which I tested on my phone with the case on, and it worked quite well. The interior of the car is stylish and well put together with the perfect balance of technology and physical buttons. I am sad to report that it still uses analog gauges, but we do have a nice little screen in the middle that does display your miles per hour and some other helpful information. Now it's time to get it on the road and take it for a drive. We are in the 2022 Camry Hybrid XE, and I'm driving it for the first time. I've never even driven this generation Camry. I've always thought they looked good. I thought it was a really good choice for a mid-size sedan, but I've never driven this generation. I've driven the last generation, but I never really liked the way that they looked. But these, I never really gave Toyota a second glance, and it's probably not even fair to say that. I never even really gave them a first glance, to be honest, until they came out with this generation Camry, because this is the first Toyota that really caught my eye in terms of style. I was like, wow, they actually made a good-looking Toyota that I actually wouldn't mind being in and being seen driving and all of that. And on top of everything, being a hybrid, this is just really, really cool car. Adjust my seats here real quick. Get the electric seat on the driver's side. Now we do on this car, we have the blind spot alerts on each side on the mirrors. I think every car manufactured in this day and age should have that feature. So I have to say, driving this just on, normal roads, 35 miles an hour, it's smooth, it's quiet. I feel sheltered from the outside road noise. Visibility is absolutely phenomenal. You have this giant windshield. Personal preference of mine, I would probably get a piece of tint across the top, because in the evenings that sun coming through is really going to be pretty brutal. And then on top of that, with this being white, if you put black tint, you put that dark tint on those windows, it's going to make this car look really, really good on the outside, and you're going to have the convenience of less sun on the inside. That's just me, though. The steering wheel, actually, now that I'm in it and driving it, I don't know why, but the steering wheel just feels a little bit big. It feels a little bit bulky. I guess I don't know. I guess I wouldn't necessarily expect that from a mid-range sedan. Some of your higher end ones do, because they're targeted toward a different demographic, so they seem to have bigger, awkward steering wheels. I love the way the steering wheel looks. I do, now that I'm driving it, I just think it feels a little bit bulky, but it doesn't feel bad. It feels okay. It just feels a little bulky, and at the end of the day, I can live with that. That's minor complaint. I'm always a bit picky on the way turn indicators sound in the car. I like this one. This one's not annoying or too crazy or anything like that. It's nice and subtle. Oh, there is a really nice BMW 8 Series right there in the parking lot. Beautiful, beautiful. Bruce Woodring Auto, you need to get an 8 Series BMW for me. Please. I have to say, you put the pedal down, it'll move. It'll move. What I really like is you get that Prius style hybrid. So if you don't absolutely take off aggressively and you just take off easy just for normal everyday driving, you can drive in just electric mode without the engine kicking on. And then when the engine needs to turn on, it'll turn on like it just did once I got to about 19 miles an hour. I love that. I always thought that was pretty cool on the Prius. I do think the start-stop feature when you're at stoplights and stop signs and stuff, I think that can get kind of annoying. It always bothered me in the Prius. My Mercedes and BMW had it. The beauty of BMW is you could just turn it off and it would stay off. The Mercedes, I had to turn it off every single time I got in the car, and that was a little bit annoying. You're going to feel the bumps on the road here and there. It's just part of it. Like, this is not a Rolls Royce by any means, but it has a good ride. It's solid, it's firm, but it's comfortable at the same time. I really like this. The only thing I wish it had, especially being in 2022, now that we're in 2022, I'm starting to nitpick certain features of cars, is the fact that we still have the analog gauges with a little screen in the middle that does display your speed, the time, the temperature. It gives you all the practical stuff you need to know, so really you don't even need the gauges other than seeing how much gas you have. But I wish all of this was digital. You have this really, really nice looking and very functional 9-inch display in the center. I just wish the gauge cluster kind of matched that. One thing I'm really eager to try are these paddle shifters. The paddle shifters are kind of funky. I'll have to get a shot of them, of me actually pushing them. I've not seen paddles like this. The way they click is very unique. But what we need to know is how do they function. Now I will say as far as size, they pretty good size. They're curved in the back to kind of fit your fingers. But again, they really, on a car like this, it doesn't matter as much. But if you're gonna put paddles on a car, there's gonna be people out there that are gonna use them at least occasionally. Put some kind of rubber on the backing or grooves or something just for a little extra grip. There's just nothing there. It's just plastic. That's always one of my biggest complaints on paddle shifters. I don't have anything to complain about with this car when it comes to efficiency or practicality, visibility. It's all solid in this car. Driving this car, we're cruising at about 50 miles an hour now. It's still pretty quiet. You're starting to hear the road noise a little bit, but it's still really well insulated for just a mid-sized Toyota sedan. I think this is, I cannot complain about it at all. And what I really can't complain about is the fuel efficiency. So we've talked about, a lot of the features and how this works like a Prius and everything, but I have not mentioned the MPG on this car. And it's staggering. It absolutely floored me when I found out what the MPG was in this car, because it's not that far off. It's single digits away from what a Prius can get. You're going to get at least what the EPA rating, which you're going to see on the window sticker, 44 city and 47 highway in a mid-size sedan. Let me say that again, because you did not mishear me. 44 city, 47 highway in a mid-size sedan, in a Camry. Even the modern day Priuses, not the plug-ins, but just the standard Prius hybrid, it's not that far off. You have more room in the back seat. You don't get the hatchback. I love the hatchback Priuses. I'm a hatchback person. It's convenient, it's practical. But the trunk in this is very spacious, and you have more room just in the car and in the cabin here. It just feels nicer. It's nicer than a Prius. It rides better than a Prius. It's quieter than a Prius as far as the road noise. I think this is great. You have 3 drive modes in the car. You have eco mode. I've never particularly found eco mode to work all that great in cars I've had in the past. Doesn't seem to do a lot. Maybe in this car it's a little more functional, but honestly, with my drive style and being the petrol head that I am, I'm not really worried about eco mode anyway. Right now we are in normal. What I'm going to do once I turn around is I'm actually going to put the car in sport mode, and we're going to try the paddles out. Okay, so we're going to go to drive. We're going to put the car in sport mode. All right, we're going to see what it does. You do have this this left gauge here, this left analog gauge, shows you when you're charging the battery, when you're driving economically, and really when you're putting the power down. There's a power section. That means you are driving too aggressively to be fuel efficient. I like how they let you know that. You know, that's where I want to be. I want the needle in the power section. All right, we're going to shift this over and put this into first gear. Okay, so decent amount of power here in sport mode. I mean, you're not going to have a problem pulling out in traffic like I just did, and getting to the speed in a timely fashion if you need to. Paddles were not, no. See, cars like this, they might as well not even put the paddles on there, because the paddles really serve no purpose. I was shifting through the gears. I shifted up to fourth gear. I did not feel the gear changes. According to the screen, they were instantaneous. I went 1, click, 2, click, 3, click, 4. But I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the shift. But you're not buying a Toyota for it to be sporty or fun or anything like that. You're buying it because it's a Toyota, and you're going to get the longevity out of it because they're reliable. You're buying it because it's a hybrid, and you get the fuel efficiency. You're not going to have to fill up as often. You're not going to have to spend the same fortune on gas that all the Tahoe and Suburban drivers of the world will have to. And you're buying it because it's a mid-size sedan. You're going to be able to fit your family or some friends in this car, go on a trip, and you're going to be able to do so comfortably and efficiently. And what more can you ask for? So there you have it. I think the 2022 Camry SE Hybrid is the perfect car. It's a nice, spacious, mid-size sedan with the technology and efficiency that's very similar to that of a Prius. But you get better style, better ride quality, and a few extra features. All for what really matters the most, an affordable price. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I know that Tyler couldn't join us, but that's all right. We all have our chaotic schedules and so forth. Be sure to check out more on this car at gtkcars.com. We'll have an article up on there with some pictures. Or stop by at Bruce Woodring Auto Sales and Leasing and talk to Sabino, and he'll be glad to help you out. Until next time, though, stay safe, have fun, and put the pedal down. Unless you're in this car and you're trying to get really good gas mileage, then don't put the pedal down. Just ease into it.